Hi there and welcome to a new episode. Now this episode's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be showing you any places. It's more of an informative session where we talk about travelling with the dog. This is probably the topic that we've had the most comments and messages on since we set off 3 months ago.
Absolutely.
And now we've obviously been travelling for three months. We feel like we've sort of understand how it all works and we qualified to pull together a bit of information on it.
Yeah, so let's start by introducing you to Archie. Here he is. You've obviously seen him in some of our previous episodes. So he's a Border Collie cross Labrador. His mum was a black and white Border Collie and his dad was a blonde Labrador. And we picked him up when he was about 10 weeks old, when he was a little puppy just outside of Melbourne from a breeder. So they typically bred Border Collies and Labradors separately, but on this occasion they had a bit of an accident. And Archie came.
So he has such a lovely temperament. He's really low maintenance. He doesn't bark. He's very well socialised. He's been going to playgroup Woofer's World since he was about 6 months old. He's had a bit of training. He's now great at tricks. Has a really good. We've got a really good bond with him and can communicate really well with each other. So that's really helpful.
I think the hours that we've put in training him over the years has really helped, and it made the decision to take him with us on this lap of Australia much easier.
Yeah. So he loves travelling, he loves being in the car, he loves sticking his head out of the window, so that wasn't really an issue for us. He also doesn't bark, so again, that has made the whole decision a whole lot easier. Yeah,
so all of those things, if you're considering taking your dog on a lap of Australia or just any long travel in general, all are good to consider. Is he well socialised? How does he travel? What's his temperament like? Having a more mature dog is a lot easier to travel with than a puppy, of course. But it really comes down to your dog's personality, and you know your dog better than anyone else. And we knew straight away that Archie would be more than comfortable to go on this trip with us. And it wasn't really an option not to take him. He was always going to come with us.
No, we knew he'd be happy. We knew it was the best thing for Archie and for us all to go together.
So once we decided to take Archie with us on this trip, the first thing we did is take him to the vet. Obviously, we get him checked at the vet regularly, but this was just an overall check to make sure he's still in good health, update his vaccinations, and if there was anything else that the vet advised that we should do, to get that done as well. So I took him to the vet, and we got a couple of extra vaccinations just to cover him in the more vulnerable areas, things like ticks and stuff like that. But we also got some hay fever tablets for him as well, because he occasionally gets quite scratchy around the eyes. So the hay fever tablets just stop him getting too itchy. And obviously he's microchipped as well, so we got him microchipped when he was a puppy. So all of those things are really important to consider when you're taking your dog on a lap of Australia.
Yep, and having the documentation to hand. So we were asked by Kangaroo Island for his microchip number when we were getting the permit for there. And also, if you're going to use a doggy daycare or a pet sitter, they may ask to see proof of vaccination. So that's all really useful stuff. The other thing that the vet recommended was for us to switch our worming tablets. So we were just giving Archie the stuff that you get from the supermarket, and the vet actually recommended this one, which is more comprehensive. So this, as well as worms, it also kills fleas and ticks. So we've switched worming tablets. I know there are a couple of different brands that are really comprehensive.
Yeah, but our vet, we know our vet well. And
yeah, he recommended this brand, so we went with that.
Yeah, exactly.
We've only really done the south of Australia so far, so before we head up north, I'm also going to buy a tick collar just for additional protection for Archie from ticks.
And we know Archie really well. Obviously, he's our dog. He's a great communicator, so if he's ever feeling unwell, we always know. We always get a sense that he's not feeling great. So you just got to have that relationship with your dog, of course, and we know exactly how he's feeling almost at all times.
And we check him, we'll check his ears and just make sure that everything's okay and that he seems happy. So that's probably the prep in terms of Archie. We also got quite a bit of new gear for him when we were planning the trip. Firstly, I think it was the dog hammock. So we just got that off Amazon. It was $30-$40. It wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
So it's really useful. It makes Archie happy. It gives him his own his own space. He loves that. He loves his hammock now. It's got a mesh at the front for airflow between the passenger and driver door, but it protects anything from falling down from his hammock into the footwell. It also protects our seats, which is good.
Another thing we have as well, we bought a dog ramp. So he was having a little bit of trouble getting into the Ranger. It's a bit higher than normal cars. So we did get him a dog ramp, just to, like a telescopic dog ramp, chuck it on, and he can run up and down really easily. He's getting a lot better at just jumping in now and jumping out as soon as we open the door. So might be something that we kind of sell eventually. But yeah, it was really handy to have at the start while he was getting used to the new car and the new hammock and everything.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of the hammock, it also has some little Velcro pouches that you can get through to the seatbelt holder. Because what we got was a harness, a chest harness, which actually came with this seatbelt attachments, yes, but it's really short is this and quite restrictive, so we don't actually use that one. The hammock, on the other hand, came with this, so this clips into the seatbelt, and this is a much longer one. This can clip onto the back of the harness, and that provides freedom of movement while in the back seat.
Especially important because he loves sticking his head out the window, so the short one wouldn't let him do that, the long one lets him do that, so it was a no-brainer.
The other thing that we got was this, which is called a smuzzle, so a soft muzzle. And I like this because it looks a lot less aggressive than a proper muzzle. And what we just do is this. So the reason we got this was because of 1080 bait, which is highly lethal to dogs and found in quite a lot of regional and remote areas where they're trying to get rid of pests such as dingoes.
Yeah, it just gives us that extra level of protection and comfort that Archie can't eat anything through this soft muzzle. He can still smell, he can still open his mouth and lick his lips, and he can drink water through it. All he can't do is eat. It also tends to have an added side benefit is when he's wearing it, he doesn't move at all. He stays still like a statue. So he's still getting used to it.
He does.
But we generally just use our lead and keep an eye on him in most parts. But if there's 1080 signs around, we'll definitely put the muzzle on.
So again, that's part of the planning process. As we're looking ahead, we are very aware of which areas are safe and which aren't.
So we also bought a few other things. So we took with us this, which we take everywhere. It's just a soft collapsible water bucket. We've got water in the car at all times, so this just allows us to have an easy, lightweight solution to give Archie water at any time.
Just a quick one. In terms of the water, we have on occasion, very occasionally, forgotten this. A backup plan, and this isn't just travelling with your dog. Anytime you'll always have some dog poo bags, so they actually work as a backup if you have nothing else. Water bowl, so they even go over water fountains, so you just put the bag over the fountain or over the tap, fill that up, and we'll get Archie just to drink directly from one of his bags.
Yeah, hot tip if you forget that and you don't have a water bowl. And we've also got, Hannah and I have got head torches, of course, but we learnt off a tip in one caravan spot that you could just strap this on your dog at night and you can see where he is at all the time. So usually before bed, we'll take him out to do his business, maybe a quick walk, and we just chuck it over him like this, like that, turn it on, and he's ready to go. Yeah, we can see him at night, so it's just a handy little thing to do at night time when it's quite dark and so you can keep track of him. Archie absolutely loves travelling in a car. When we pack up the caravan each morning, he's usually at the door wanting to get in the car straight away, usually crying at us wanting to get in. So he loves it. He loves sticking his head out the window, and on long drives he just has a nap in the back of the car. So he's become really comfortable with the car and his hammock, so we don't have any issues with him travelling in the car. He doesn't get car sick or anything like that.
No, he sleeps a lot of the time. For long drives, he sleeps most of the time, and he's picked up a cute habit now. When you put the indicator on, he'll jump up because he means, oh, we're coming off this road. So he'll jump up to see what's going on.
Yeah, the things he learns is just crazy. Being such a clever dog.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, exactly. We leave him in the car occasionally. Usually it's when we go shopping or go to the chemist or something like that. But we always use common sense. We never leave him in the car at hot days. If we are going to leave him in the car, it's generally for maximum about, an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And we'll always leave a window open. And the Ranger has
We'll always leave 2 windows open, so there's a through breeze on either side of the car.
Yeah, and the car has a reduced guard option, which means that the internal alarm won't go off while Archie's in it. So just make sure that, we don't set the alarm off while he's in it.
In terms of the Caravan, Archie was also at the forefront of our thought process when getting that. We probably went with a bigger Caravan than we would have done had we not had a dog. We spoke to the dealer when we went to the dealership and explained we'd got quite a large 35 kilo dog, and he had a dog, so totally understood. And we ended up getting the side club lounge because the table drops down, you put a cushion on and it turns into a spare bed, a single size bed. So that just gives Archie that space at night if he wants. Although we have found that we just put his bed on the floor and most of the time he's just happy lying down in his bed. Or occasionally jumps up onto the bottom of our bed.
Yeah, and it took him a while to get settled into the Caravan. It's just a new place, a new home for the year. But now he loves it, doesn't he? And he's got his bed, like Hannah said, he's got his bed in there, so he feels really comfortable. And similar with the car, we do leave him in the Caravan, although it doesn't happen very often at all. We try to keep it maximum to kind of, 3 hours.
Yeah, because Caravans heat up in the same way that cars do.
Yeah, but whenever we leave him there, we always make sure we've got power. We put the aircon on. We keep
the fans.
Yeah, the fans on.
We usually open one of the top windows because obviously hot air rises, so that helps just get rid of some of the hot air.
Yeah.
Make sure he's got plenty of water.
Water and maybe a snack beforehand. And also make sure he's had a walk and gone to the loo beforehand as well. And
then he just chills out. I think he probably jumps up onto our bed. We have a blanket that we put on our bed just to protect the duvet cover.
Yeah.
I reckon he probably just jumps up onto that and has a bit of a nap.
And anything longer than 3 hours, that's when we start to consider other options like pet sitting. So generally, we'll ask the Caravan Park if they have any recommendations of pet sitters. But also sometimes if you meet fellow caravanners on the way with dogs, you could look after their dog for a day and they could do the same to you. So just have that nice community.
And for a bit of cash, there's usually a fair few people that'll look after him for a few hours.
So one of the biggest drawbacks about taking a dog around Australia is definitely access to national parks. You can't take them. Frustrating, but completely understand why. So whenever we want to visit a national park, we definitely have to prepare and plan ahead really well. So when we're looking at caravan spots, we try and pick somewhere very close to the national park, make sure we have power, make sure we've got water, just in case we need to leave Archie for a few hours. But anytime we want to do some extensive looking in the national park, we'll put him in a pet sitter. So we've done that a few times. We did that at Flinders Ranges, we did that at Kangaroo Island, and it's really accessible, and that's probably the best way to do it, just leaving him with a pet sitter for the day.
Yeah, but there are national parks that we've missed. You do make sacrifices. There's a lot of national parks around Australia. You pick which ones are your priorities, you make a sacrifice on some of them and arrange. We are spending a bit more money because of Archie due to things like arranging pet sitters.
Absolutely,
that's fine. So it almost sort of fits into a couple of camps. Is this a national park that we really want to see? If no, then we skip it. If yes, we work out a plan around it. And
as long as you're planning ahead. We always have to plan a couple of weeks ahead just to make sure Archie's covered, that we're not leaving him, that we're not stuck and can't visit what we want to do. Just make sure you plan ahead and everything's manageable, isn't it? It's just
absolutely.
a little bit more complicated, a little bit more expensive, but everything's manageable.
Yeah. And as you can see, Archie's really happy. He's enjoying his trip. He's having the best time. Our bond with Archie's probably increased since we've been travelling because we are doing different things together. He's getting time before we went travelling, Chris and I both had full-time jobs, so we were, even during COVID when we were working from home, we focused on our jobs.
Yeah.
Suddenly Archie's getting much more quality time.
He gets all the pats, all the attention now.
We take him to, we research, when we go to a town, we research if there are any actual dog parks, and we found some great ones with obstacle courses, and he has a fantastic time.
Yeah, he loves it. And we've also been utilising dog washers as well.
Yes.
We got the Caravan with an external shower for that option to wash Archie outside. We've used it a couple of times, but the dog wash with a couple of coins gets such a better result.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, and he's not the fondest of baths, although he loves water. But it's just such an easy option, and they're just everywhere. They're in every town we visit, really, aren't they?
Yeah. So in summary, it's been a really good experience for both Archie and us, having us all travel together. I don't think we'd do anything differently, would we?
No, absolutely not. We love having him with us, and all the extra planning is all worth it to have him with us on our side. So it's just, you just got to consider these things. Obviously, take common sense with everything you do. And all of our decisions...
And plan.
Plan, and all of our decisions have Archie in the forefront of our mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we thought would be quite useful is we've pulled together a bit of a checklist, a bit of a document with some helpful information, and we've put that on our website, staycationoz.com.au, which you'll be able to find in information
and tips on the website.
Yeah.
And we've got things like towing information and budgeting information on there already, so we'll add to that, and just for a little bit of reference if you need it.
So please feel free to use that information, and or get in touch with us. We love to answer questions. If you've got any questions, comments, or
tips.
Yep.
Other tips, we're always open for new tips.
Absolutely. Just please let us know. We really appreciate you watching this video and your ongoing support. Can I please ask you to subscribe? If you haven't yet done so, that really helps us too.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. And we're going to do a few of these little informative episodes going forward. Things like our favourite places, our favourite camps, a little bit more about the Caravan and our car, and just our day-to-day things that we're learning, mistakes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So tune in for these episodes. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
See ya.